Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
AAA is on my hot list. I have to say that I always tell people that I've been a AAA member, I think, since 1974, and sometimes people whom I'm talking to haven't been born yet. But I always believe that AAA is the way to go, and I'm so glad that they told us that we could talk with Max Dennis, who is a licensed insurance agent with the Auto Club Group. And I'm welcome to you to the show, Max.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, a AAA is something that I'm sure as an employee you're very happy to be a part of because they do offer so many things. I was just telling Max that I actually went to my car dealer and found that they gave me because I have the AAA card. They gave me 10% off on my repairs.
Absolutely.
And so let's talk about what you do. You help people with insurance.
Yes.
So if I walked in there and I said, okay, I'm here because I don't know if I need flood insurance. I don't know what I need. What would you do? How would you start me off?
Well, I would tell you that's a strong consideration. The myth down here in southern Florida, the whole state of Florida, is that you're either not in a flood zone, you don't need it. My lender didn't require it on my mortgage, what have you. And I tell people, hold on, not so fast. All of Florida is a flood zone. You may be in a preferred area, however, it's coverage that I strongly believe in, and for the amount of premium you're paying for the amount of coverage, it's a value. It's a good value. And
Max, when you drive in your car and you see the rain come down, you can't see in front of you. You know that the rain comes and causes floods, and hopefully we're not going to get such bad hurricanes this year.
Correct. What a lot of people don't realize is 25% of individuals that live in preferred areas file a claim. So that's significant.
25% file a claim.
25%.
And what are they generally for? Do you get involved with these people? Once you sell them insurance, then you're their insurance agent?
Yes. I'm in the Wellington office, by the way. But they're concerned. Usually we get a higher volume, a peak volume around this time of year because of course, we're in the early stages of the hurricane season. But I try to discuss it all year round. And, anytime I'm discussing homeowners coverage or any coverage, it's something that is brought up. Whether you're a renter, homeowner, it's something you should consider. It's significant.
Why don't you talk about renters? There are a lot of renters around now. There weren't so many for so long. What kind of insurance would someone buy if you're a renter?
If you're a renter, what I've seen, and it's very common, is if you're in a rental community and you are in a long-term lease, a lot of the landlords or the leasing companies want you to maintain, at minimum, a liability policy, meaning that if something happens, let's say you're having a barbecue, you have friends over, and it gets a little wild, and you cause damage to your neighbor or some type of damage to the property, you could potentially be at risk for a lawsuit or some type of legal action. So the renter's policy would protect you in that event, and I think it's a good thing. It's very inexpensive. A lot of times, most of the times included with the renter's policy, you also have your contents, which are covered. So personal items that you bring into the dwelling, and then also a lot of people don't know this, items in your vehicle, those are covered.
Really?
As well. Yes, ma'am.
So you lose your iPhone or something, and it was or someone steals it from your car?
Yes. That's
part of the insurance.
Renter's policy or homeowner's policy.
Homeowners.
A lot of people think that it would be covered under auto, but
yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
So it's these personal effects is what you're
personal
really
effects,
just saying.
Yes, and then also the liability, and then also medical. If somebody gets injured, the policy is going to pay some dollars for somebody getting injured.
I don't know this, but do you have pet insurance?
We don't.
See, bingo.
Some of the carriers we work with, we partner with, they have that, but right now we don't offer it. I think I'm hoping that we can, because that's a lot
of individuals. We all have pets,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now there is coverage on a homeowner's policy or renter policy for liability say you have a dog or a cat.
That chews on the baseboards, right?
That, but also bites, things like that. So,
really?
Yes, you want to have that protection as well. And then on the application, the insurance company does ask, do you have any pets? And we have to disclose that. And if you do have a pet or a dog and you don't purchase the liability, you have to indicate that.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to cover everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's get back then to, so we're a renter, but probably wouldn't you say most of your policies are going with homeowners who are looking to have insurance on their home? Let's say someone just buys a new home.
Okay.
And they have a mortgage. Does the mortgagee, the mortgagor, I think, do they insist that there's insurance?
The lender?
Yeah, the lender.
Absolutely. Yeah, because they want to protect their interests. If they granted you a loan, if something happens, they want to make sure they're listed as an additional insured, so that they can recoup, what they have invested in that transaction. So, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, okay. So now somebody, tell me about a typical, a person that insures. Let's just, you have to name any names or anything.
Okay.
So I know you're out in Wellington. Wellington's a very upscale place. So let's say someone comes in and they don't even know what they want. Let's say they are not a renter. They own a home.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably have to ask them first, do you have a AAA card?
Yes, that's the first thing. We want to make sure that, are you a AAA member? And
right.
We thank them for their membership. And if they're not, we want to tell them, hey, you need to join because of these multiple reasons. And then I just asked them, what brought you in? What do what kind of things are you looking for? What's important to you in terms of coverage? Not just having it, but let's really discuss why it's important and go line for line and try to discuss. And then usually 90% of the people I talk with, they have these policies. They don't know what they cover. And that's not their job. It's our job to educate them on that and then make sure that they're adequately covered. And then when they walk out of there, though, they're more informed and they appreciate it. They really do.
Okay, so what are you
But to answer your question, I kind of went off on a tangent.
Okay, no, that's good. I like tangents.
Yeah, usually it's auto. Auto is usually the trigger. I like to call it the spear, because that's when you catch them, because they're our premiums down here in Southern Florida are not the greatest. We have a high rate of accidents,
right?
People that drive uninsured, so the rates are
really
impacted by that. But that doesn't mean we can't find you a good deal. So usually it starts out with the auto, and then in that course of that conversation, I also let them know we also offer homeowners, flood, life, umbrella policies. Life insurance as well.
Oh, yeah. And long-term health care insurance?
What we usually do is transition, and we let them know that we have an individual. His name is Adam Cobb. He's great, and we pivot to him if they're definitely interested in that type of product.
The reason I think this is great that you're here, Max, and let me just introduce you again. You're Max Dennis, and you're with AAA Auto Club Group, and it's because a lot of people, Max, don't know that AAA is more than just call them and they'll get you, fix your battery, right? That's what a lot of people think it is.
Roadside.
So
much more than roadside. And on the daily, I let people know we're so much more than roadside. And we appreciate it, but take a look at our other offerings. I mean, we do banking. We have mortgage loans, home equity, credit card. We have a great credit card. Like I said, mentioned health and life insurance, auto insurance, CDs.
Yeah, you really are a one-stop shop.
We're a one-stop shop. We're a one-stop shop.
So someone comes in, as you said, they're probably coming in maybe for the auto insurance, or maybe even to get a card, and then you move it into insurance. Yes. Let's talk about insurance. So the biggest insurance probably would be covering a person's home.
Yes.
That sounds to me like the most, right?
Right. That's most people's largest asset, and we want to make sure it's protected. And like I said, we do a thorough job of going through each line and making sure that they have the right protection. Because one thing we don't want to do is write up a policy and then something happens and
They're not covered.
They're not covered, or they're not adequately covered.
Right.
And that's going to be an issue.
Right.
And it makes us look bad.
Yeah. So, we see a lot of advertisements on television for insurance companies, but none of them, I think, could ever say how long they've been in business. And if I'm not mistaken, because I've been dealing with AAA many years, it used to be 100 years. I think it's longer now. I think it's about 115 or more.
It's over that.
It is. It's over 100 years. I couldn't
tell you offhand. I'm ashamed I don't know.
Well, you don't have to. We know it's over 100.
You say 100. I mean, come on. That's
right.
That's significant.
And there's a reason why. You know that.
Absolutely.
The reason is because they have really provided what they said.
And it's our members.
And I am one of your most loyal and one of your most enthusiastic members. And something else I'm going to add now, thanks to Bob Long, we have our magazine in Boomer Times. Now you can pick it up in Delray Beach at AAA, Coral Springs at AAA, and Wellington at AAA.
Yes.
And especially in Delray, they're flying off the shelves. We can't even keep enough in there.
Yeah.
But we're so excited to thank you and, Bob and Tamara, of course, for making that happen. But let's get a little bit into the flood. I know we kind of bypassed it. I did talk last time we talked with another one of your agents, but
Scott,
yeah, but let's talk about flood insurance a little bit. What is a flood? I mean, sometimes I go to my restaurant and there's a flood outside. Is that a flood?
Yes. Rising water. I just keep it simple. Rising water that's coming from the out and into your home. Let's say you have a hurricane or windstorms here, and your roof is damaged and there's rain pouring in. That's not a flood. That's going to be considered a peril underneath a hurricane portion of the policy. But flood is a separate policy from your homeowners. Homeowners doesn't cover that, number one. It's a separate policy, and it's backed by FEMA, the federal government. So, again, it's rising water. It may be raining outside, and you're looking out the window, and you see the water's elevating, and then it's moving closer to you.
Wow.
Then it's entered your home.
Scaring me.
That's a flood. That's a flood. And but it's important coverage because water causes the most damage, in terms of property. It doesn't take much. A couple inches of water can add up quickly. Matter of fact, I brought some data. Let's see.
So you're going to tell us what?
Oh, absolutely. Right here, just 2 inches of water in a 2,000 square foot home can cause as much as $21,000 in damage. That's huge.
Is this because of the mold that happens after the water and
that, and also it's destructive. Once water soaks in and gets into your items, they will never be the same. They either have to be replaced, removed, or condemned. So it doesn't take long. And usually you have to get a company that can come in there and extract that water, do a mold test. They do all kinds of, things. And then most of the time you have to replace it. It has to be replaced.
So if you're the person, I'm insured with AAA to do that,
Right.
You get those people to come, and is that how you manage that?
Well, usually the way it works, if you do have a flood claim, of course you're going to contact the claims department within flood. And then they're going to help you with that process. Now, you may have somebody that's, it's up to the discretion of the adjuster.
Sure.
But a lot of times they'll allow
but you'll help.
Absolutely.
And the people you're referring, remember, are going to be very first class because you can't refer anybody who wouldn't do a good job.
Exactly.
Or they wouldn't be with AAA anymore.
And the company's going to want the repairs to be up, they have to be up to standard, because they don't want any future problems.
Right. And I'm sure that you have to check the amount of money that they're going to charge. Because, AAA's, in other words, AAA's going to stand. It's like good housekeeping seal, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
They don't have a good housekeeping seal. They just have been in business so long, and it just comes with it, right?
Right.
And so I think that's what you have going for you, as far as I'm concerned. That, yes, there's a lot of other insurance policies and a lot of other insurance companies, but you want to go with someone that they're going to be the same place every time.
And I will say this, and I'm gonna blow our horn a little bit. Since I've been here, I believe our products are the best in the market, period. And I'm saying that because the way we treat our members and our clients, we handle claims very fast. They don't haggle on disbursements. They take care of their members. And I even spoke to adjusters, private adjusters who work outside of, AAA, and they say the same thing. They have policies with us. So that says a lot.
They like to work with AAA.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. So everybody, you should know. Let me give you a way to contact this. If this is important to you, and it should be, to contact Max, you're going to want to call him at his phone number at, let's see, the 561-793-1281,
yes,
extension 2229, correct? I'll do that
Wellington
again.
location or Royal Palm.
Yeah.
But absolutely. If I'm unavailable, we have 2 other great agents in that office that can assist. We have a good team. We're very dedicated. We treat them like family.
Yep. Okay, here we go. And it's Auto Club, AAA, Auto Club South.
Auto Club Group.
Oh, Group. That's right. Used to be South. Oh, see here.
Yeah.
But the website is Auto Club South, is AAA.com. Is that true? It's on here that way.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know, but that doesn't matter. Let's give you a phone number. 561-793-1281, extension 2229. And it is Auto Club Group. That's really what it is. I don't know about that website. It's a little strange.
Yeah.
But let's get back with insurance. So now, let's say someone comes in and you finish up, you give them their insurance, and now they need, as you said, banking, or they want travel. So what do you just walk them over to your other department?
Correct. We have a travel agent in-house. Her name is Frankie. She's awesome.
Awesome Frankie.
Yeah, awesome Frankie. We'll walk them over, introduce her. And if she's busy, then you take their information and ask them, what are you interested in, where you want to travel, and then we make sure she follows up. And as far as banking's not here. It's in another division in Michigan. But what we do is reach out to them, and we bridge that gap and make sure they connect with the right people for whatever product they're looking for, and they follow up as well.
Okay, but now you're in insurance. Would you be handling the other kind of insurance with them if someone wanted to have long-term health care, or? Again,
that's with Adam.
So you would
the way we're structured, right? Adam's he's dedicated life and health.
Oh, life.
So all I do is instant message him right away. Say, Adam, here's their information. Follow up them. This is what they're looking for. And ask the client when's the best time for him to connect, and he does it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a lot of departments, and that's good because you can't do everything. There are companies where you go and they'll try to fix you up with everything, but that's not right because they can't possibly keep up with all that's going on in the field.
Right.
So now, I guess Florida is a little nervous about getting another hurricane because they have to have enough money, in their coffers to be able to take care of everybody.
Right.
So AAA, though, certainly must have a representative in the state, and they must know what's going on, and then they take care, and you always can ask them what's going on, right?
Oh, yes. We, right now, I brought with me today, actually, they've done a study back in late May, and based on the hurricane season, this current hurricane season, we're looking at 14 named storms. Project. This is all projected.
Projected. Oh, my heavens.
These are individuals with wiser IQs than me. 7 hurricanes and major hurricanes with a category 3 or higher. We're looking at 3 projected.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep that in mind. Let's be aware. Let's be prepared. Let's listen. When your local TV news, they say, hey, it's coming. Meteorologists, it's coming. Get prepared. You need to heed the warning and get yourself together.
And it's a good point you bring up because you can't go and buy insurance when that's happening because isn't there a 30-day?
Yes, I forgot about that.
It's
How did I
very
forget
important.
about that?
And no, I know that because I once found someone who was really in trouble with that.
Oh, yes. If you do not currently have a flood policy in place, there's a mandatory 30-day wait because, of course, the company wants to protect themselves from any type of fraud or, but, if everything's fine and well, 30 days passes, your policy is, once you pay your premium, you have a policy. You're covered.
I'll tell you, you'll enjoy this story. I was working with a sales rep for a long-term health care company, and I'd known him. He had been advertising with us for many years, and he went and he kept trying to help certain people, and one older woman was really so nice, and she just couldn't sign on the line. She wanted it and wanted it, and he didn't know why. Well, anyway, he gets a phone call from her from the hospital.
Okay.
She says, "I'd like to buy it now."
Doesn't work that way.
I know that. Every time, that's why it makes me think about why I always say that, because you can't do it then. You have to do it before. That's what insurance is. You have to insure what's going to happen before it happens, right?
Exactly. And the companies are smart. Come on. They've been around for years, and they know when a red flag goes up, they see it. It's just with any insurance. If you have, they want to know, why hasn't this person been insured previously, even with auto or what have you. And so they're going to have those safeguards, to protect them, because, we want to keep the rates down as, most as possible. But when you have stuff like that going on, everybody's impacted.
Oh,
because we're all pulling our money in a big pool to cover everybody's losses.
Yeah, that's true. So when you have flood insurance, what if it affects your car but not your house? What happens there? Because you saw these cars floating down in some of these past hurricanes.
In that instance,
is it the
your
car
auto
insurance?
policy, yes, it's called comprehensive coverage.
Other
than collision, comprehensive other than collision means the same thing. And you'll notice when hurricanes are near, all the companies place binding restrictions on all of us. That means they're not accepting any policies because they know the likelihood of something happening is greater than normal. So even the auto carriers, they'll say, you can't write any auto. We're not taking anything.
Right. I remember when that happened.
Happens all the time.
When you're in that insurance world, you better get it before. So when do you think's the best time to get this?
Today.
To get insurance?
Today.
Today, he says.
Today. No, seriously, because, it's the value's there. You may not see it right away, but at the time of loss, I hate to be the person to say I told you so. First, we're talking a few dollars, a month. It's not.
Yeah, it isn't a lot of money,
it's not a lot of money, and you get so much for it.
Yeah. If you take it and divide it into 365 days, right? It's pennies.
You're doing less than $1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's
about some more than $1.
It costs more depending on the size of your home. I'm sure. Everything.
Absolutely. It depends on what the limits you want.
Yeah.
But
have something.
You got to have something.
This whole thing that we've done, there's a whole list of questions here in the Boomer Times.
Okay.
So we have let me see. Ensure you're covered for flood insurance. Make an inventory. Oh, that's good. Make an inventory of your assets and their values.
Yes.
We ought to talk about that.
Yes. You don't know what you have until you either move or you're cleaning out the house. And we all have a lot of stuff. And the important things, you want to make sure you take inventory, put it in a safe place, use plastic bags. I've seen people with the Ziploc bags so things can float. I remember last year, Hurricane Harvey, watching CNN, and they were going through a young man's house. Had a lovely home, and the water had risen almost to the second story. And all those pictures of his boys, all those heirlooms were damaged. He had a few things in bags, and they were just floating, and it just hit me. And I said, man, I mean, that's so true. So be prepared, take inventory.
Take pictures, right? Now we all have our cameras.
Take pictures. The more documentation and, things you have, if you have a claim, it's going to benefit you. But if you want to safeguard those things, take the necessary steps and discuss it with your family. Let's say, run a scenario and say, this happens or the power goes out or whatever happens. What are we going to do? So nobody panics, because once it comes, your mindset changes. You
better have a plan, right?
Have a plan.
And stick to it.
Stick to it.
Because, it's funny, when I was here, not last year, but a few years ago, and the hurricane was coming, and people started getting in their cars and heading north.
Or that, or heading to the gas station and buying up all the gasoline and all the supplies, right?
Right.
That's what I mean. You want to make sure you have some items on hand, because you're going to expect that. Use your sink. The tap water's fine. Fill your gallons, jugs up, or have a filtration. The water's still running usually, and you're going to have it. But just have some type of plan, have cash. Those
That's
pumps,
a good point.
Those,
That's right.
Those machines, technology
You're
can
right.
fail.
Have some cash.
Cash is king. So,
right.
yeah. And if you're going to leave, you're planning to leave, make sure you lock up everything safely. The windows are, protected. All the open areas are protected. Maybe let your neighbors know, hey, we're heading out. Can you keep an eye on my property? And just have a clear path, a plan, something written down, something tangible you can say and say, okay, I forgot about this. Let's do this. So that way you have a checklist.
Yeah, you're right. That's good advice,
Yes,
Max.
yes.
Very good. And
you don't want to.
And don't wait. That's the whole
Don't
point we
wait.
just said. Don't wait to
Yeah.
keep your. In fact, now it wouldn't hurt. As you're getting a lot of rainy storms, keep at least a half a tank.
Yes.
Keep a half a tank even before anything happens, because I have seen where I was here when there were lines outside gas stations. It would take an hour for you to get it. I mean, it's very dangerous. So,
Yes.
so you're good. You're a good representative of AAA. I think that was a good thing. Then how about stocking up on your supplies? Now that was another thing, and you kind of covered it. But when you go, you see Publix and different places, they're out of everything, right?
Oh,
And the crowds, it's so silly.
This is my 4th year down in Southern Florida.
Oh, I see.
And
Only 4 years.
Every year. Well, the first year, I was in a panic mode too, because, you tend to see how everybody's reacting. And you think to yourself, should I react in the same way? But this, the years
Right.
have passed. You prepare. We have water on hand. We already have a little area in our house where we
Good.
have water, batteries, flashlights, candles, charcoal, things that you're going to need.
Well, we
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming and being with us. And we
pleasure.
thank you for being on our radio show. And we'll see you again.
Thank you so much.